On today's video, I head back out to the river in the John boat to do a 2-hour raw and uncut video, throwing my absolute favorite jig of all time. After I got the boat put in, I ran down the river. I actually ran down this time. Went to a beautiful section of the river that I've not fished in quite a while, and let me tell you, it was a beautiful fall afternoon. Got up there, got to throwing around the jig, got bit super quick, caught some really nice fish, had a really good time. So let's go ahead, jump into it. 2 hours, raw and uncut, out on the river on a beautiful fall day. Let's get it. Get in here, baby. Oh, there we go. Y'all, well, we are gonna turn around so we can fish back upriver against the current, and we're gonna see if we can catch us some doggone fish is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna cut off the old Merc, and we're gonna get up here and we're gonna do some John boat bassing, and we're gonna see if we can just put some fish in the boat. That's what we're trying to do. So I'm gonna start off throwing my mock jack combo. This is the 7-foot medium heavy 20-pound test P line. This is fluorocarbon, and then the good old 3/8 ounce Bitsy flip jig with, this is the Rage Scound Bug in the black and blue flake. That is a perfect jig trailer. But we're just gonna take that bad boy, we're gonna throw it up to the bank. We're on a deep shoreline right now. Get that back there. It is 16.2 feet deep where we're at right now. So we have 16 foot of depth, and we have 54-degree water temps. 54-degree water temps. So the water has definitely cooled down since the last time I fished, 100%. And we already have this jig, the current has done pushed it up under some wood. That's the only thing with throwing a jig. You will get hung. You will absolutely get hung. So let's see if we can get this out of this treetop. Yep. And most of the time when a jig gets hung, it's not even the hook. It's actually just the head, like wedges in the wood. So that's pretty much all it is the head wedges in the wood, and you just got to go and pull it out the other way. So just keep that in mind. Don't take that thing and pull it hard like that, because if you do, then that head might pop through and your hook might end up getting hung. So just, that's a little tip, something that I've learned through the years for sure. But you know, one thing about the fall is no matter where you're at, especially the river, these outside bends get a lot of leaves on them, and it makes it incredibly difficult to throw like a moving bait. Like today, I really wouldn't mind throwing a crankbait, to be honest with you, but it would be extremely difficult to throw a crankbait, because literally every cast that I threw, I would get pine straw, I would get leaves. It would be a mess. So we're gonna start off throwing this little Bitsy flip jig. We're gonna throw it up there to the bank. We're gonna drag it slowly out here into this deeper water, and we're gonna see if we can catch us a bass, a smallmouth. We're a little bit lower down on the river than where I was in the video where I went up before me and my daughter went, and then me and my daughter went up and fished, and we caught some rock bass. I've never caught any down this far, you know, down the river. So very unlikely to catch some rock bass down here, but definitely smallmouth and largemouth for sure. So let's just see if we can catch some fish and put them in the boat. That is what we're gonna do. Throwing up there, dragging around. I mean, we have a good steady current, a really good steady current coming down river. Not too hard. We did get like 2 inches of rain maybe 4 days ago. I think it was like 4 days ago, I believe. And it really did bring the river up. So there is some fresh water in the river, which could potentially make it a little bit tougher. But I don't know. I think we're gonna get a bite and put a fish in the boat for sure. 54-degree water temps are really good. I mean, we're right here in the middle of November. So, you know, normally it would be less than this. Normally it would be like 50, 49. I've seen it in the mid to low 40s by now, for sure. So a little bit warmer than what it normally is in November, but I'm not complaining. The only thing I complain about is during bow season. When bow season comes in here in Virginia, I want it to be like highs in the 50s and the nights in the 30s, like immediately, like as soon as the season comes in the 1st of October. But of course that's not going to happen, and it'll never happen, not here in Virginia or anywhere really. So, but right now we're working our way up to this outside part of the bend. I expect the fish to be kind of in the bend, so basically kind of like from where we are up to that outside part of the bend. That's kind of where I expect the fish to be. So hopefully we pick up one or two through this stretch right here, because it is a good area. It's a good area. Definitely caught them here before, and this time of year is perfect for this little jig to really catch them. You know, you can throw around the finesse jig as well. The finesse jig has a football head on it. The Strike King finesse jig has a football head on it, and I'm definitely not throwing that, or gonna throw that, because that will get hung in these situations a lot more. I'll throw that more like on somewhere like Gaston, somewhere where it's like gravel or rock, not a lot of wood. You don't really want to throw that around a lot of wood, because you are going to end up getting hung. So, you know, that's just a little tip as well. I'm gonna throw in some tips as we're fishing along here, little tips and tricks and different stuff, but just hopefully we put some fish in the boat. Right here we got a little backflow situation. The water's swirling a little bit right there where it's a good cut in the bank. Definitely should be a fish up there, 100%. Definitely should be a fish up there. So we're gonna throw right up there to that corner. Let's see if we can, yeah, right there. Right there. Should be one up there. There was a couple people at the ramp. I think it was like 3 or 4 boats up there. Today is a Sunday, so probably not as many people. We can hunt on Sunday here, but probably not as many people are hunting today. Season just came in yesterday, or firearm season did. So, ooh, I just threw that right into that limb. Firearm season came in, so a lot of people were in the woods yesterday. I didn't realize it. Oh, no, I think I do. I might have some in my other box I brought, but in my tackle bag I only have 2 of these Bitsy flips, so I don't want to be getting hung and losing these bad boys. But something else I was going to bring up right here. Y'all see these straps right here? These rod straps. I make them. My company, I have a company, GF Outdoors, and I make these rod straps. I make them in a bunch of different colors. You know, your standard black, neon green, red, blue, yellow, bright orange. I mean, I have a bunch of different colors. So if you need some new rod straps, if you need some graph wraps, the wraps that hold your screen covers on your graphs, I make those as well. I make boat bump sticks to keep your boat off docks when you're docking your boat. I have a bunch of different products that I make, and I make everything by hand. I make it by hand, 100%. I make it myself. So if you're looking for something like that, be sure to go to gfoutdoors.com. It is linked in the description below. And I have a code for you all. Just put in Gunfish TV, the same way my channel is, GUNNFISH TV, all one word, and you will get 15% off your total order. So I really appreciate everybody that has ordered through my business and has supported and you know, if you need something like that, be sure to check it out. You won't be disappointed. I pride myself in those things, and I really honestly believe that they are some of the best rod tie downs on the market. I'm telling you all, I back them. I really, really think that. These have been on my boat for 2 years. They have literally been on my boat for 2 years. So if that tells you anything, if you had the cheap rubber ones, I would have done replaced them like 5 times. But anyway, let's see if we can get a fish. See if we can get a fish. If I get a really clean spot, I might throw that crankbait if I get somewhere a little bit cleaner. But right now, I don't have anywhere to really throw it. It's a beautiful afternoon. And we are in the afternoon. It is 3:07. So it gets dark at 5:30. So hopefully we put it together and catch some fish. And we might end up having to run down a little bit and jump around. And, you know, we'll see what we can get on. But these outside bends typically are pretty good. I'm gonna have to make a cast out into the middle of the river because I got a little bit of loose line on my reel. But these little bitsy flip jigs, I don't know if you've ever thrown them before. I have literally thrown these things since I was like 13, 14 years old. And I've caught tons and tons of fish on them. And they're like literally my favorite little jig. I mean, I've caught so many fish on them. I've caught some big ones on it too. Some really big fish on this little jig. So don't discount it just thinking that you're going to catch some small. Oh God, that's a good bite. He's on it. Got it. All right. Oh, there we go. First fish, and he absolutely thumped that little bitsy flip right here on this outside bend. I will take that, y'all. I will take that. Let's show him back here to the back camera. Boom. What a beauty. What a beauty. Thank you, my guy. All right. So we're right here, I don't know, about 10 minutes in, maybe 10, 15 minutes in. Got us a nice fish, nice bass on that bitsy flip. Let's get us a good release here. Ooh, there we go. Hey, I will take that right here. As I said, we were getting right here to this more outside part of the bend, and we caught him, so good deal. I like that. So we'll restart this back camera. Let's get back up here and see if we can catch a fish. All right. I mean, he thumped it when he bit it too. I mean, absolutely thumped it. And something else too, I kind of talked about it in my, I think the previous video, maybe not the last one, but I don't know, a couple videos ago. And I was talking about scent. And when the water gets cold like this, I really, really believe that scent makes a big difference. I had sprayed this in Bang Crawl. I'm giving to spray it again. I'm gonna launch this out in the middle and tighten my line back up. But I really believe that scent does make a big difference. We got a motorcycle going across the bridge there. But we're gonna give it another spray. This is an old bottle. Well, it's not that old. It's just been rained on and everything, and the label is all messed up. I got a brand new bottle of it. But Bang Crawl is what I typically use, you know, on my rage bug, and if I'm throwing a jig or whatever. Typically what I throw, a lot of times if I'm throwing a spinnerbait, I'll use the Bang Shad. And I have those links, just Amazon links in the description as well. Along with all the rod and reels that I use, I have all that gear down there. The mock lineup of rod and reels have a discount code down there. But I want to just show you all the stuff that I use. So if you're interested in buying a product, you know, that way at least you can see it and know what I'm using. So we got a boat coming behind us, a duck boat. But yeah, I mean, that way you can see what I'm using and know what I'm using and what brands and all that, and make it easy so y'all can just click a link and get it. But we got one fish. How you doing, man? You know, and one thing about it, it kind of sucks that my Ranger is messed up, but that's the way it is. He's got that mud motor on that thing. He was kicking up a major rooster tail when he came by me as I was running down here. But you know, the Ranger, the motor is blown, you know, but it's getting worked on, and thankfully I had insurance, which is a blessing. I'm gonna be honest with you, because man, you know, it's hefty price tag getting a motor redone, new power head and all. But ooh, I thought that was a fish. It wasn't. But you know, hey, we're just gonna be doing the John boat thing right now, and that's fine. You know, we'll do the John boat thing. We can catch them out of the doggone John boat too. You know, I fished out of this thing for I don't know how many years before I bought my tracker. I fished out of this. Actually, I fished out of it for 6 years before I bought my tracker. And, you know, I've had this boat since I was 16 and caught a ton of fish out of it. And I don't feel hindered by fishing out of this whatsoever. You know, the bigger bodies of water might be a little bit more challenging, but hey, I mean, it is what it is, right? You know, that's just how it is. That is just how it is. We ain't gonna let it keep us down, I can tell you that. Ain't no way. We're gonna keep on fishing, and we're gonna see if we can pick up some more fish now. We're getting right here at that bend. We're just dragging this thing along slow. And I'm gonna tell you what, that last fish that bit it, you talk about thumping it. Now, he was not playing. He was not playing. We have a really good lay down right here, coming out, laid down in the water. That fish that I caught was on the backside of like a standing tree when he bit it. So wood is probably going to be a deciding factor on getting bites. So we're going to concentrate on areas where we have pretty good wood, and we're going to see if that makes a difference. And I'm sure it does. You know, this time of year it always does, or really in the river in general, it almost always makes a difference. So we're going to come over a piece of wood now. Just popped it over. But air temps today was a high of 62. So not bad as far as water temps go. It is supposed to drop down in the 30s tonight. It dropped down in the 30s last night. So, you know, the water temps are going to continue to cool. And actually the end of this week is only going to be highs in the low 50s, and the nights are going to be really, really cold. Really cold. So it's going to put these fish in their wintertime areas. You know, if they're not there yet, if on your body of water you're still sitting in the mid 50s, you know, those fish are doing their thing. They're still feeding up for the winter, still biting good. You know, but as it cools down and that water gets in the low 50s and into the upper 40s and all, those fish are really going to switch into their more wintertime type areas. So just keep that in mind. If you're fishing, you're not really getting bit at the areas that you were catching them at, just fish, you know, some of the deeper stuff, go to some of the deeper structure, kind of pay attention. I'm throwing all up in the trees here because I'm so close to it. I need to be pitching it, but just pay attention, you know, to the areas that you're fishing. If you're not getting bit, go try something else. But we're in 20 foot now, so we are in the deep stuff. We are in the deep stuff. I mean, we have gotten on down there much deeper. That fish I caught was probably, he was kind of close to the, well, he wasn't close to the bank, but much closer to the bank than we are. But he was probably, I need to put new line on this reel. It has been quite a while since I put line on this reel. It's kind of kinked up a little bit, but get out of there. There we go. I don't know when not. But he was in probably like 10 foot, probably something like that. I would say 10 foot of water. But we're gonna throw behind this tree. I definitely have some more areas that I want to hit, and we're gonna jump around to them. Get back here behind that. I'm just gonna drag that kind of right along that tree right there and see if we can get bit as we're dragging slow. Oh, yep, we did. Oh, I missed him. Yep, I missed him. Did he pull my trail down just a little bit? Dang it. All right. I figured it would be one there. We were literally coming right back down that log right there. Let's see if he bites it again. Man, another good bite. That current is drifting it right up under there. Perfect. Throw it in there again. Actually, I threw that a little bit close. I want it to drift more into it. I threw that a little bit too close. There we go. We'll let that kind of get down there. Dang, that fish probably going to be one and done. Might not bite again. It's all right. We'll throw right up there. We'll throw it there a little bit more on the bank. See if we can generate a bite there. A lot of wood down there. I'm bringing it through a lot of wood. Ooh. Don't want to. There we go. See that right there? Don't pull that thing into there. All I did was just slowly let it go down, popped my line, and it popped out. So I could have lost multiple jigs already if I would have just taken my rod and just really pulled it hard. But that line popping trick works really good. It doesn't work all the time. Nothing's foolproof, but it does work pretty good. Works pretty good. You know, definitely if we caught a smallmouth today, and I don't even know what the odds of that happening are, but if we caught a smallmouth today, that would be like a huge win. That would be absolutely amazing. If we did that, that would be really, really cool. But if we don't, it's not a big deal. We're chasing largies. We are chasing largies, so we're going to keep on working along and just throwing my absolute favorite little jig. I mean, its size gets bit. That's why it's such a productive jig. It has that smaller profile. And you put that little raised scound bug on the back, that little 3.5-inch crawl, has those little kickers on the back. It's a really, really good combination. Really good combination. So maybe we can get lucky and smoke like a 4+ pounder. That would be awesome. I was kind of just running my boat, you know, coming down here I was coming to fish, obviously, but also I wanted to run my boat. I just put new plugs in it, and carburetor was kind of flooding a little bit. So I was gonna pull the carburetor off and completely clean it and do a rebuild on it, but I put some fuel cleaner in the fuel, got some fresh fuel in it, new spark plugs. Definitely seemed to be running a lot better. So we might be okay. That carb cleaner might clean it up, and we might not have any more issues out of it. So we'll see. We will see. I've had it do this before, and I've been able to clean it up, putting some carb cleaner in it. So that might take care of it. But we're in a really, really good spot now. I mean, we are getting into the juice, or what I consider to be the juice, the most outside part of the bend. So we're right here on the most outside part of the bend, 22 foot of water, and definitely is going to be some fish in this area right here. And we're just really slowly and methodically working this jig along. Very, very slowly. I'm expecting to just get absolutely thumped. There we go. See, popped it out again, just like that. But I'm expecting to get thumped by something. Oh, then there it was. Did he hold on to it? Oh, no, he did not hold on to it. That was a heck of a bite. Oh, man, I brought it through a little piece of wood, and that fish thumped it and just did not hold on to it. What a good, good bite. Oh. Let's see if we can get bit again. I mean, that fish absolutely thumped it when it bit it. I mean, that was a hard thump, and he just did not hold on to it at all. Man, that's all right. Like I said, I thought the fish were going to be right in this area, and that was definitely one of them. We're coming over some wood now. We're going to slowly drag over top of it. I mean, the bites that I've gotten have actually been like pretty aggressive thumps. They're not really like just grabbing it and just like a mushy bite. They're actually really thumping it. So that's definitely a good sign. I'll throw right here by this piece of wood. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely a good sign. So maybe we're gonna be able to get into a bigger fish. Oh, big girl. I've caught some big fish on this bitsy flip, on this little bitsy jig. I've caught fish up to 7 pounds on this thing. So definitely capable of bringing some big bites. The water's so deep here, I gotta feed a little bit more line. Throw up there. And as we get to the end of this bend, as we work around and like get to the end of it, we're going to jump on the other side, on the other part of that outside bend as well. So we're just going to stay in more of the deeper stuff. I'm dragging over some wood right now. Come right over top of it. There we go. Let's let this thing drop down. I mean, we are in 26 foot of water now. Sure enough deep. Deep. bumped a piece of wood. I thought a fish had about snatched a rod out of my hand, but that was just a piece of wood. There we go. I think we're gonna smack one now. I mean, 27 foot. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I don't want to be dragging it here all the way out to the boat. That's honestly a little deep. I don't care to be fishing that deep. So we'll kind of throw it, drag it to the boat, and drag it off a little bit. You know, see if we get bit, and if we don't, we're gonna reel it on in and bring it back. I really like that 15 foot range. I mean, we're in 30 foot now. Like, it is deep. It is deep. But I mean, still got, even though it's been cold, I mean, I've got a mosquito flying around my head right now. Still dealing with the good old mosquitoes here in Virginia, which is just crazy. But we had a big old wad of leaves and stuff right here. It's a bunch here on this outside bend. But we're just gonna fish along. I mean, I don't know, you know, how long we're gonna fish total. I would definitely like to catch a few fish for y'all. And, you know, I could have went upriver and maybe been a little bit more productive, but my last couple of videos have been up from the upper part of the river, and I wanted to come, you know, somewhere different. I wanted to come somewhere different and fish somewhere different. Show y'all a different part of the river. And also, like I said, the opportunity, which I did catch a smallmouth up there, but the opportunity of potentially being able to catch one definitely is here as well. So we definitely got potential to catch some fish. But as you can see, I mean, I'm fishing pretty slow, like very, very methodical, fishing along here. This one might not come out. This one might be more of a hook hang here. It's the only problem in this deep water. Now, if you do get hung, you got an issue. Hopefully it'll pop back. And that's a no right now anyway. Yep, there we go. Thank you. All right, I mean, we got some really, really good wood right here. We ought to absolutely get smacked. I mean, as soon as I got up towards that bank, the mosquitoes just came out all on my ears. By November, I don't want to be dealing with mosquitoes. I don't know about y'all, but I mean, if you're down in Florida or something, I mean, that's maybe a little bit different and kind of to be expected probably. But here, nah. Ain't trying to deal with none of that. Ain't trying to deal with none of that. So we're gonna bring it over a piece of wood right there. We're gonna work this area good down to that outside part, and then we're gonna probably jump across. But yeah, we got loads and loads of pine straw and debris right here. There's definitely a lot of it piled up right here. And the fish might be, you know, on the lead part. A lot of times they'll get on the lead part of the bend as well, like right off the end of the flat, right as it starts to drop. Sometimes you can do really well there too. So we definitely have potential to do something there. We got a little bit of a backflow situation right here where it's swirling just a little bit. So there definitely ought to be some fish right here in this area. It's one, and I might go there in a couple days. It's a creek off the river that's really good, or it can be really good this time of year. And I would definitely like to go there and put a little bit of time in and see if we could catch a nice limit of fish there. That would be pretty cool. I really haven't fished in there a lot this year, so that definitely might be worth hitting. Looks like the water was definitely earlier, maybe earlier today, at some point a little bit higher, maybe about 6 inches. Maybe I'm just looking at the cypress knees up there, maybe 6-ish inches higher than what it is right now. Oh, these mosquitoes. I got up there near the bank and now they are just bothering me. But yeah, it definitely looks like it might have pushed in earlier or just came up from that rain and it's dropping fairly fast. So, but we got good current here. Not like heavy current, it's like the perfect current is what we got going on. I feel like we might get bit right here. Got this good little stump right here. I just got a feeling with this cast for some reason. I'm gonna work it back slow. Well, didn't get bit. That's all right. Put one up under this tree right here. See if we can get one. Bring it over that little tree right there. Let's see if we can pop that bad boy off. Oh no, there we go. We popped it off then. So we're still in 29 foot of water right now, 30 foot. So once it starts to come up more in that 15-ish foot range, that's definitely when I'm gonna expect maybe to get bit again, which I mean, I think we can get bit here too, but this is definitely deep, pretty deep stuff. Even now, a lot of times I don't even fish this deep in the river. But we kind of got bit pretty quick and we've gotten a couple bites, so I'm kind of sticking with it. I was gonna come here, and if I didn't get bit pretty quick, I was gonna kind of go on and move to another area. Get off me, mosquito. I mean, I'm out here fairly chilly in a hoodie, and this darn mosquito is just all over me. But yeah, I'm definitely hoping to get bit again. But this jig is getting bit, so that's one good thing. The jig's getting bit. I've gotten 3 bites on it, so we're good on that. What I'm using is getting bites, so it's not like we fished for this long and haven't gotten a single bite. It's 3:35 now. Big fish just jumped up there. Might have been a catfish or either a gar. Dragging this thing so slow. Man, I want to throw right there, but I don't want to deal with throwing over that cable. It's a really good looking piece of wood right there behind it. I'm dragging over the end of that top that comes out right here. We'll throw it there over it and just see what we do, and then we'll go up there and we'll ease up there and get it so we don't have to deal with getting hung in a piece of rope if we don't get a fish. Oh, it's a piece of coated cable, so that's even better. Go ahead and reel it up. We didn't get bit. Now this is a really good spot right here. I mean, like, seriously good. Got this good little area. Got a little ditch or a little creek that comes in right here. And then you got this area right here. Have a big tree right on the point. That's always going to be a good spot, no matter where you're at. That's always going to be a really good spot. Hoping to maybe pick one out right there. .8 water temps. That's like perfect, actually. Like, if I was to say probably what is some of my favorite water temps when it comes to fishing, I would definitely say probably in the 50s. Like the mid to low 50s can be really, really, really good. Like really good. So definitely some of my favorite water temps is what we're fishing right now. 100%. So it's starting to come up now. I'm up in 22 foot right now. So we're up here, coming up on the little flat, because this left side right here is a flat. Definitely could be some fish up there as well, feeding. Might could catch them on, well, you catch them on anything. Maybe a spinnerbait, chatterbait, maybe a crankbait, you know. But like I said, being able to get something through there is a little bit of a nightmare, and it's not that bad right here, actually. I'm looking at it, and it's definitely a lot cleaner than that outer part right where we were. So I might could actually break the crankbait out and fire it, but I mean, we're still in 20 plus foot of water, so. Ooh, fish just came up and jumped right there. It's really the second fish that I've seen kind of in that same area, so it might be some group of fish there feeding. Yeah, and I mean, this time of year, you know, this time of year is when you can really catch fish in one area, you know, kind of like really grouped up good. They'll school up in the, you know, in a river really like they will in a lake. You know, we just don't have the quantity of fish in this river. It's just not a lot. It's not a ton of fish in this river. It's not very, very populated. It's a very tough river to fish. I mean, I fish a lot of places, and it's one of the toughest bodies of water around. And I mean, this is what I grew up fishing. This is where I grew up fishing, where I learned to fish. And it's just, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say it's not bad. It's definitely not terrible at all, but it is a tough fishery. It's a tough fishery. This place will turn you into a man when it comes to fishing. Not really somewhere where you can go and just say, you know what, I'm going to just go there and absolutely destroy them, because It's just not one of those places. But you can definitely come here and catch fish and catch some big ones. You can definitely catch some big fish here as well. I'm dragging over a little piece of wood. Let's work our way. What do we got swimming? Something is swimming across the river down there. I don't know if that's a beaver or what that is, but that's definitely something swimming across the river. Might be a muskrat or something. Yeah, so we're in 18 foot now. Definitely coming up on this flat. I'm thinking we're gonna get bit. I really am. Slip it under those limbs. There's some gar under the boat. I can see them on my down scan. That's 100% gar. I can see them. I'll show them to y'all. There's big long lines right there. Those are gar. Those are gar. I'm just laying down there on the bottom, being lazy. It's a bunch of them. A bunch of them down there. Probably gonna fire a couple casts kind of up on the flat and work it back down. See if we can get one like that. Just because there's gar there does not mean that there's not a big old bass laying down there with them, because they would definitely lay down there with them. They don't scare each other. Not in the river anyway. I'm not going to say where you're at. They might not coincide and live together harmoniously, but I'm going to tell you, here in the river, they got to. They're around each other 24/7, and it's potentially more gar in this river than it is even bass, so kind of one of those deals. I'll throw up here. Got some good wood right here. See if we can get bit. Yep, because we're coming up now on 12 foot, so we're very quickly coming up in some shallower water. Man, I would love to throw that crankbait. I don't know. We might pick it up and throw it right here in a second and just try it. We might try it, but we are going to end up with so much trash on that thing. I don't even know how we would even try to fish it. Might could try the spinnerbait, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm gonna throw one more cast with this. Got a little lay down right there coming out off the bank, and we'll drag this alongside that. That's right, many fish. I mean, on this little drop right here, I can see them down there. Some of them are definitely gar, but let's try. We're gonna try to throw this crankbait. Good old yellow crawl crank in the fall on this river is hard to beat. Hard to beat. And I'm throwing this on the 7 foot Mach 2. This is the medium moderate. Really, really like this rod for throwing a crankbait. We got that one through fairly clean. Yeah, this is my favorite little crankbait rod for throwing these lighter crankbaits, balsa crankbaits, like KVD 1.5s. So I bumped some wood there. Got me a little excited. Now I got a bunch of straw and pine straw and stuff on it. But ooh, it's just got my. Did I get my camera? I did splash my camera. I think we're good now. But really good rod for throwing like the smaller crankbaits. I might get right and throw the jig up there, because that much wood up there I'm bumping through. I'm about to get all in some stuff. Yeah, we're working up now. We're in 10 foot. Jig is definitely, I mean, I'm not throwing a jig right now, but definitely about to pick the jig back up. This crankbait is definitely getting coated in some leaves and different stuff. But I just wanted to see if we had any aggressive fish up on this flat right here. I'm going to work up on that outside bend right there and work that jig slowly. I definitely feel like there's some fish up here on this flat. I mean, we're not deep. I mean, it's not like we're fishing in 30-degree water temps and we have to be fishing, you know, super deep. Definitely not what we're dealing with here. So there we go, on the crankbait. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, pickerel. Oh, he gave us a cool jump there though. Chain pickerel on the crank. Get up in here. Get up in here, my guy. Let's give ourselves a little bit of line. Oh, now you got hung in my rod. All right. Got these long jowl pliers here. Darn, he just had the back hook, and when he got in the boat, he decided he wanted to completely engulf it. Gotta be careful with these guys, because they got some serious teeth on them. They're just like a northern pike or a muskie. All right, quit spinning. Quit spinning. Well, I mean, we did get bit on the crankbait. He bit it not long after I. Dang. Well, I was gonna try to do this without touching this slimy sucker, but we'll go ahead and get the hook out. Why is there a mosquito flying around my head right now? There we go. Well, there we go, y'all. Mr. Chain Pickerel. I call him Jack, is what we've always called him when I was growing up. My dad and Grandpa, that's what they always called him. Old Jack. Oh my goodness, I was about to say, I know I'm not hooked up already. I mean, that would be fine if I was, but that would have been real quick. Got a little bit of debris up there. Oh, now my hook is hung on my line. There we go. But yeah, that was a fun little fight. That was a fun little fight. Keep throwing the crankbait a little bit. We'll throw it up along this left side until we get right here to this outside bend, but we're going to restart this camera. And I'm trying to keep up. When you do these longer videos and you run a back camera, I run the back camera on like 5-minute intervals, so you kind of have to like restart the camera. So I kind of got to pay attention to how long I've been fishing, so I kind of know where to check to find a fish catch. So I think I've been fishing now for like an hour, somewhere in there, and we got us another one. So I mean, there's still a few pads up here actually on the bank that I can see. So we're kind of fishing right off the front of that pad flat. Got a really good shoreline that like cuts in right here. Starting to actually drop back off. Got the mouth of a little creek that comes in right here. Definitely should be some fish right here. Anytime you have a little creek or a ditch or anything that comes in into a river or even a lake or pond or anywhere, typically it's a pretty good spot. It's going to be a pretty good spot. So that's kind of what we got right here. It's just a little swamp run that comes in. So I'd be kind of surprised if we don't get bit here. I'm gonna throw the jig up there as well. Just crank around this a little bit. Just kind of varying my retrieve. Throwing up there and kind of stopping, starting. Oh my goodness, that fish smoked it. That's a bass. Little guy, but right here at the mouth of this creek. Check that guy out. That's cool. I mean, he smacked that crankbait. About took the rod out my hand. And it's probably more up there. I'll check that little beautiful fish out. Little guy, but man, I'm gonna tell you what. Got the sun shining on us. Beautiful. Thank you, buddy. There might be another one up there. I mean, like, for sure. There could be another one up there. We're gonna throw up there and see if we can get another one to bite. He absolutely smacked it when he bit it. But what I was saying, I'm just kind of varying my retrieve, like kind of start, stop, start, stop. And that way the fish are kind of, if they're following it and you kind of just stop it, you know, they can get a little fired up and eat it. And I'm just throwing this on a 5/6-to-1 reel, just 15-pound test. P-line copolymer. It's just a C21 copolymer. And that's what I'm throwing it on right now because I've been fishing it summertime. I'm not throwing a 10 or 12-pound test or anything like that, trying to get, you know, max depth. Not doing that right now. So, but yeah, I mean, we just got this little creek run. I mean, we still have really good depth going into it too. So we're gonna throw up into it, see if we can get bit. We just got a really good wad of something, probably pads. Oh, just a single leaf. I'm gonna sit right here and throw right off the front of this pad flat too. Come right down it. Got a leaf on it. There we go. We popped it off. Oh, I got another one on it. This flat might go out a little bit further than what I'm thinking. We'll throw out just a touch further and see if we can bring it right down that drop off. No, got into it again. So this edge must come out a little bit further. All right, we got to get at least a couple decent casts on this front edge. Yeah, it's shallowing up. I can see it on the graph. I don't know what in the world. Something over there is making some weird noises. I don't know if it's some otters. Can't see because of the sun. Oh yeah, it's a group of otters. I see them now. It's like 3 or 4 of them. I don't know if y'all can see them. Probably not, because the sun is so bright facing that way. I can see the bubbles under the water. But we're going to jump over here to this shoreline. This is actually where I had thought about starting, but I went around the bend, and there they are. They're coming all up in front of me right there. There's otters are, but there's a beaver hut right here, and those otters are swimming right by it, or right under there, right up against the bank. But there's a beaver hut right there, and it's obviously not under the water, but we're gonna fish along this bank and just see if we can get bit. There's another little beaver hut. Those otters, I mean, yeah, they're just swimming around all over the place, just having a good old time. There's 3 of them. You know, I went years and years and never saw a river otter on this river. Like, never saw one. And now I see them pretty regularly, to be honest with you. I'm not going to say I love that, because they will eat the mess out of your fish in a pond or river or wherever, but I've definitely seen a few more than I would typically see. But we're going to fish this outside bend right here very, very methodically, and we're going to try to pick up another fish or 2 from this area. Definitely feel like we can get another one. But we're going to fish this for, you know, a little bit, and then we're going to work our way kind of back closer to the ramp, because there's definitely an area there where I feel like we can get into them good, or pick up a fish or 2. I'm not gonna say get into them good, because it's really hard to just kind of come here and say, okay, we're gonna smoke them, you know. But we'll hopefully go there and we'll get into some. But if we get them good here, then I don't need to go there. So maybe that'll be the case. But this bank is good. It has a lot of cuts on it, a lot of wood. And that's one thing I look for on a good outside bend, especially in the fall. I look for a shoreline that has a lot of cuts in it, a lot of trees that kind of stick out to break the current, so the fish can get up behind them. You know, a lot of lay downs so the fish can get kind of out of the current in this cooler water. They don't want to sit up there and have to work as hard. They can just go up there, feed, kind of, you have deeper water so the fish can kind of vertically just work up and down. And you know, so that's what I kind of look for in a shoreline. I mean, summertime as well, but in the summertime, a lot of time you can get them, you know, good on the flats, which this year, I'll be honest with you, the frog did not, or the buzzbait, either one did not play a huge part in my summer success this year. A lot less than normal, which is very, very weird. If you're a long-time watcher of my channel, you know that I put a lot of time in throwing the frog and throwing my, you know, that toad buzzbait. And it just, this year was just not the year for either one. I did okay on the buzzbait, especially this spring. Now, I had a couple really good days this spring on the buzzbait. But as it warmed up, that bite was just not fantastic. I don't understand it. I don't understand it, but you know, every year is different. Every year is different, kind of like deer hunting. I mean, last year, bow season, I had an excellent bow season. Saw tons of big mature bucks. Was able to tag out on bucks before gun season even came in. And then this year, I hadn't always seen a buck over 14 inches wide. Like, it's just the way it works. It's just, every year is different. Every year is different. So, man, I really, really think I should get a bite. Right in here. Good spot. This is a good spot. Just gonna drag it slowly. And hopefully we get bit. I need to spray some more bang crawl on here. A lot of wood down there. Ooh. Fish just came up behind us. Yes, a lot of wood up there. We're dragging through. Now let's give this a fresh spritz with the old bang crawl. I really like these cuts right here. These cuts in the bank. Come on, big girl. We could really cap it off if we got lucky and caught a big fish. That would be phenomenal. Oh no. I popped that thing right into that stick. Dang it. That probably rolled and the hook probably did get hung on that one. Not very deep back here. I was thinking it might have had a little bit more. Oh yeah, it's not deep at all. I was thinking it might have had a little bit more depth right here up in that little cut, but yeah, definitely not deep. There's a lot of wood right there. I mean, I'm slipping this thing through a lot of wood, and we're gonna have to go back and get that one. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, there is, I mean, my goodness, there we go. I mean, it is a ton of wood right there. Definitely probably a fish down there in it. But I mean, whew, I mean, we're in it again. I mean, now I'm bringing it through even more. Whew. Yeah, I mean, you got to be so careful in this river too. I mean, like literally, there's a free floating log just right in the middle of the river, just floating around. You know, that's not hooked to anything. That's not been there or nothing. That's just floating right in the middle of the river. So you got to be super careful when navigating out here in this river, because especially when the water comes up, it'll get stuff out of the bank, you know, off the bank, and it'll wash into the river. And then next thing you know, you got some big giant root ball floating in the river, or a big log. And if you're running down the river and not paying attention, you're gonna end up having a bad day. So we're gonna work around this top right here. See if we can get another fish or two. Check our trailer, looking good. All right, and my hook bent out just a touch, maybe where I got hung. I slightly bent that out. These Bitsy Flips do have heavy hooks on them. They do have heavy hooks on them, and a lot of times I will take on any jig and just slightly bend the tip of the hook outward a little bit to give you a better angle, so you're more apt to hook up on a fish, you know, on your hook set. That's old Bill Dance tip right there. Fishing around wood, sometimes it might not be the best thing to do, but if you're fishing like a lake or somewhere, you don't have a ton of wood, it is a really good idea. It works because you're putting that hook angle outward, and you just do tweak it where it just is setting up a little bit, and it absolutely helps with your hookup ratio. I even do it on the owner offset wide gaps that I use flipping my rage bug. I mean, I even do that myself. It does make a difference. Does make a difference. But man, I tell you what, some good looking stuff up there. I'm really hoping that we're able to get bit, put a couple more fish in the boat. And something else too, if y'all like these raw and uncut videos, like fishing like this, let me know. I mean, I like doing them. I like talking to y'all and telling you what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, the different conditions, different stuff. I mean, let me know, because I do enjoy doing them. So let's see if we can get us another fish. But like I said, just let me know. I mean, down in the comments, let me know what you think. Do you like them? Do you not like them? Are they too long? Do you never watch the long videos? I mean, just be honest. All right, let's get right up there. So water temp, when we got right there where the sun was shining on that flat, the water temp did climb up to like 55.2, but now we're back right in this outside bend on the shade, and it's dropped back down to 54.5. So we're dealing with sub 55 degree temps. Sitting in 16 foot of water right here. 16 foot of water. Is that a fish? That is, I believe that's a fish. Oh, did I just mess up? Dang it, I might have just messed up on a fish. It felt so weird. Like it felt like a stick, but not a stick. Like it was, that was a very weird feeling. And it might have been a stick or a leaf, like 100%. But it felt very weird. I was about to just swing. I was about to just swing anyway, but I didn't. Come on, jig. Let's get us another one. Let's get us another one. Hopping over some wood right now. Working through a lot of wood, and we're just slowly dragging. It's 4:11 right now. We're probably gonna fish till 4:45, somewhere in there. So I might fish here till like 4:20, and then I got a spot down that I definitely want to fish, a really good outside bend that I want to hit for sure. So we can give that a go and see if we can pick one up on that. It's about maybe a 5-ish minute run down the, or back up the river actually, not down the river, but it's back up the river that way. So I'd love to get up there and throw this jig around up there and see if we can pick one up. I want to get these tops. Definitely want to fish these tops right here and see if we can get one on them. We got a boat coming by us now. But see if we can get one out of these tops right here, and then if we don't, then we'll you know, go to the next spot. Man, there should definitely be a fish right there. Get this tiny bit of loose line off my reel right here. Got into some sticks. Come on, big boy. We got somebody working right over to the other side of us right here. They're gonna hear me talking to myself and tell me I'm crazy. All right, come on. Now there should definitely be one right there. 100%. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't gotten any bites kind of ever since I fished that mouth of that little ditch. I haven't gotten a bite on this side yet. Ton of wood. I think I'm gonna fish up to this next top and then fire up and go on. See if we can get one kind of out off the bank a little bit. We're at 14 foot of water, so it's really good water depth right here actually. But just not a lot of bites right here that I'm getting anyway. We're gonna throw it right there. That ought to get bit. Do it kind of right up there to the base right there. Come on, big boy. Smell fish here a little bit. It smells a little fishy. So there might be some fish here in the area. But not getting any bites. I want to get a really good thump is what I want. just not getting them. I think when I get this cast in, I think we're gonna fire up and go up to that other spot that I was talking about. See if we can get a bite there. That's another deep outside shoreline, but it's probably got even a little bit more current on it to maybe help get the fish positioned, because I don't know if that's what I'm running into here is a positioning deal. I don't know, because that very first shoreline that I fished, that outside bend, I had multiple bites on this jig, and then I got bit, you know, on the crankbait, caught that pickerel, and then caught that small bass, and that was on a flat, kind of, you know, right there at the mouth of a little ditch right there. So definitely slow, definitely not a fast-paced deal of fishing. I'm gonna throw right there to that root ball. We're gonna see if we can make it happen on this. Yeah, because it's 418 and about 420 I wanna get up there on that spot, so. Oh, I should have known I was gonna do that as I popped it out, and it went right in another one. There we go. Tell y'all what, just cause we're gonna throw one more on the outside edge, the lead current edge of this root ball, and we're gonna see if we can get bit there. I mean, I'm definitely seeing fish on the graph. You know, like I said, a lot of gar and different stuff. There's a ton of trash fish in this river. So, you know, on the down scan, I can decipher, obviously, the gar from other fish, but other stuff, it's hard to decipher what they are. But get the rod strapped down, pull the old Minn Kota up. Let's see if we can go get us another fish. Let's get a little fuel in this old girl. You know, it does help, y'all, if you cut your kill switch off. I wanted to leave that in there so y'all can see it. If you have your kill switch off and you don't cut it back on, it ain't gonna run. And that's what I just had going. Let's go to the next spot. It's so much trash in the water that just leaves and stuff that my boat is sucking it in behind the hull as I'm running, and it's causing my prop to blow out. Tons of leaves and stuff. Just did it again. Come on, baby. You know what? This is actually an area that I'm gonna fish, and this is like totally on a whim. I was gonna go to another spot, but I'm actually gonna fish this spot. This is a really, really good looking spot right here. So we're gonna go up just a little bit, and we're gonna come back down. like I said, this isn't the spot that I was gonna go to, but man, this looks good. So we're gonna fish this right here. We're gonna take our glasses off because we just gained about 45 minutes of daylight right then. Ooh, hit the water out here near me, but I want to start right here where this log is coming out from the bank. Right there. Let's restart this back camera. Make sure we're good on that. And then we're going to get up here and see if we can set the hook. 18 foot of water. 18 foot of water right here. Looks like a lot of wood. And I have fished here before. I've caught fish here. But it's actually been quite a while since I fished this shoreline. So we're gonna see if we can make it work today. And if y'all have ever done what I just did, had the kill switch off and couldn't start your motor, or tried to start it repetitively until you finally realized that you had it off, then you felt like an absolute goon because you had done that, comment down below. Let me know. Please let me know that I'm not the only one that has done that. Please, please, please let me know. Because I know there's no way that I'm the only one that's done that. Come on, y'all. You got to fess up to it. You got to fess up to it. But we're going to fish this slowly along this outside shoreline, this outside bend right here. We're going to work it along. Let's see. Oh, dude, I thought one had smoked it when I was reeling it in, but I just hit the end of this lay down right here. My line is on that stick. There we go. I've definitely caught fish like that before, just reeling my jig in or reeling my worm in or whatever. You know, they follow it up and smack it. But that was not the case. That was not the case right then. Just confused as to how I was getting bit so good, or got bit so fast, I guess, on that other shoreline on the jig. And now it's kind of like stopped. Just slowed down to nothing. Thinking I'm gonna get one right here though. Thinking I'm gonna get one right here. I'd love to throw the crankbait right here, but yikes, it's a lot of debris. A lot of debris. Probably got some on my jig right there, probably, but that's all right. Fish just busted right near the bank right there, back behind me, right by a lay down. Man, I really think I'm gonna crack one right there. I'm gonna throw this jig, and it's fairly clean too, so I might be able to get the crankbait up there, throw a couple casts as well. I tell you, these fall days are some beautiful days on the water. A lot of the leaves now have fallen off the trees, you know, so it's more wintry looking out here. You know, it's getting kind of chilly now. We're getting closer to dark, but There's still some leaves on trees, but the vast majority of them have dropped their leaves, and it's just, it looks very wintry, but it's really, really pretty. Really, really pretty out here. And the fishing is typically pretty good. Not fantastic right now, but it can be. It can be. It almost looks like the current has slowed down a little bit as well from when we first got here. The current definitely looks like it slowed down some. So that might have a little something to do with why the fish have slowed up a little bit. Not 100% sure. Ooh, my line was wrapped around my rod tip right then when I went to cast, and I'm gonna tell you, she went awry a little bit. There we go, that's where we want it, right at the base of that tree. We're in 23 foot of water right now. There's got to be one up here wanting to smoke this jig. Got that wood right there. Popped it over. Man, I really want to set the hook and hear that line. There he is right there. There he is right there. Oh, nice bass. Nice bass. Oh, yeah. There we go. Get in here, baby. Oh, there we go. Was I not just saying that I wanted to hear that line sing? And I'm gonna tell you, you were on cue, my friend. Right here around this wood. What a daggone beauty. What a beautiful fish. Y'all check that guy out right there, man. So pretty. Beautiful, beautiful largie. Man, thank you, my buddy. On that jig, I mean, it don't get no better than that. Mock jack, 7 foot medium heavy mock jack combo, that 20-pound SP line, fluorocarbon. There you go, bud. I mean, we smoked that fish out of like 20 foot of water. Nice. I've come up and I was like, my line is coming out to me. That is a fish. And I was right. Y'all, that little, oh, we're about to bump into some vines here, but that little bitsy flip jig right there, black and blue, 3/8 ounce, got that little scound bug trailer on there. Right here, outside bend, nice and deep. And we got smoked. Just, man, something told me stop on this shoreline, and it paid off. Paid off with a chunk. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I definitely got to put some fresh line. This line has been on here since like last year. And when it gets cold, you know, your line kind of starts to get a little, it'll show you. In the summer, it ain't so bad, but it'll show you when it gets cold. Get a little kinky. Let's make sure, no, we don't have any water on the lens, but man, that was awesome. That was a good bite. 4:30. It's 4:30. We're gonna fish to about 4:45. About 4:45. We're gonna put a little bit more bang crawl on here. Man, that I love that. I love setting the hook when those big fish are out like deep, kind of out underneath of you, and you come up and set the hook. Man, that's good stuff. That is good, good stuff right there. Yeah, let's put a little bit more bang crawl. On there. I mean, right here, outside bend. Outside bend. And I mean, have we just absolutely smoked them? No, we have not. But we have fished slowly, methodically, and we have put some dang fish in the boat. And I mean, literally throwing my favorite little jig. Oh, there's a bite, there's a bite. Oh, I missed him, no way. No way, I just missed him right here. Dang. We're gonna make that cast again. Oh man, that fish tapped it like when I got it, when I brought it to a little edge of a piece of wood, it was like tap, tap. He tapped it right as I was bringing it over. He might bite it again. I just got it to that piece of wood again. He didn't bite it then. Man, that line is making some noise, man. Down in that spool, she done got kinky. I don't have any line magic or anything with me. That stuff does work. I mean, it does soften your line and help out a lot. But I don't have any with me. Man, that was awesome. That was a really, really good bite. That was fun. See if we can get one here, right here at this little mouth of this ditch right here. Be a really good spot. I need to throw the crankbait up there. It's clean enough to throw the crankbait. Come on, my dude. Bite it. All right, let's get that crankbait. Throw that up there a couple times. See if we can make it happen with that. Oh, I caught a leaf as soon as I started bringing it through. We'll throw one more with this, and then that's gonna be it. I'm gonna pick that jig back up, and we're gonna finish up. Finish strong with that old little bitsy flip. Get on there. There we go. All right. I'm gonna give her another good spritz of that old bang, that old go juice. Something else I like about these scound bugs too, these rage scound bugs, is the durability of them. You know, I fished with this same scound bug the whole time. This whole video, I fished with the same one. So they're a very durable crawl, and they're excellent crawl just for like flipping as well. Like if you want to flip like a small profile, flipping, you know, even on a bigger weight, like a 3/8 ounce weight, you know, flipping into cover or whatever, they are an excellent option for that. But they are an awesome jig trailer. I caught so many fish last year on that finesse jig, throwing that blue crawl finesse jig, Strike King finesse jig with the blue crawl scound bug behind it. That is a deadly combination. If you're fishing a lake, you're fishing rock or around, you know, stumps, like not treetops, you know, but something that's directly on the bottom. Whew, I'm gonna tell y'all what, that is a, ooh, that line just went nasty on me then. I had a loop. She's trying to dig in now. Here we go. But that scound bug is an excellent jig trailer, like excellent. Yeah, this first thing I'm gonna do before I go fishing again is put some fresh P line on here, because this is easily well over a year old line on here. Y'all know what line does when it's been on your reel for a year. Gets a little, can get a little kinky, get a little rough. But we've stretched it out a couple times today. We've gave it a little stretch. Got another little point right here that we're gonna get to, and I'm gonna fish, and that's probably gonna be potentially the last place, or last little area that we fish. Yeah, because it's 4:39. Yeah, this is a really good spot though. We're gonna fish this and see if we can get one out of this. Definitely has high potential to be able to get one, for sure. Definitely starting to get a little chilly out here. Probably done drop down into the, I'd say definitely in the mid 50s for sure. Definitely it's gonna get down in the 30s tonight. We're about 45 minutes before dark right now, somewhere in there. But I'm thinking we can get us potentially one more fish. That would be absolutely awesome if we could. See if we can get one right at the base of this tree right here. No, we're gonna fish this little point. We're gonna fish that cut right there, and then that's gonna do it for us. Finishing it off in a really good area. Yeah, because we're in 20 foot. That last fish I caught was legitimately in, that fish was out off the bank a ways. I mean, that fish was legitimately probably in the 16 to 17 foot range, like easily. That fish was deep. That fish was deep. So there's definitely some good fish out off the bank, 100%. I'll throw a couple more casts. 442. Like I said, we're gonna go to about 445, and that's gonna do it. And I think I really honestly did not even look at my watch to see what time we started. But I believe we're right around the 2-hour mark right now, fishing wise. I think we're about 2 hours in. So, I mean, honestly, I don't feel like we've done too bad for 2 hours of fishing. Not here, not after these, you know, after these heavy rains and the waters came up, and in these conditions. I mean, it definitely makes a big difference and can change up the fishing and make it tougher. You know, different conditions obviously make fish bite, make them not bite, maybe makes them just go crazy and best thing ever. And then, you know, then of course makes it like crazy tough. So I'm not gonna say we were facing like crazy tough conditions today. I'm not gonna say that at all. But we definitely weren't fishing in just the absolute best conditions that they could possibly be today either. So I'm satisfied. I mean, I'm honestly satisfied with what I've been able to do here. You know, picked up a couple fish on the crankbait, 2 fish on the jig. One of them was a really, really nice fish. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited. Definitely looking forward to coming back and going to a different area. You know, I'm going to hit some lakes. I mean, like I said, we're going to be in the John boat, but we're going to be doing it up. We're going to be catching them. It ain't going to keep us from going to gas, and it ain't going to keep us from going to these different places that we want to go and fish. I've fished gassing on this boat before. I've won tournaments on gassing out of this little John boat, just in case y'all didn't know that. Back when I was a very, very young, back when I was a young man, a young chap, as Theo Vaughn would say. But yeah, I mean, I definitely don't feel at a disadvantage at all. All right, so it's 4:44. We're gonna make the last cast right here. I see a little stop sticking up. We're gonna put it right there. That was a beautiful cast right where I wanted it. And we're finishing it up right here. This is where we're gonna finish it. It would be amazing if we just swung and set the hook and finished up the day with a nice fish. But regardless of what happens, like I said, not bad. Not bad. I'm happy with the outcome. Dragging through some wood right there. And the little jig did it for us. That little bitsy flip. I caught so many fish when I was young on this little bitsy. It was on the bitsy bug is what I used to catch them on. And then they started making the bitsy flip, which had the heavier hook. They started making it with the heavier head. And then, like I said, this scound bug trailer, or it's a crawl, but I use it as a trailer. Absolutely phenomenal trailer. So I have everything linked in the description below. You know, the mock stuff, the rod and reels, P-line, the crawl, and the jig in the description, along with my GF Outdoors products. You know, my rod straps. Like I said, use code GF, or not code GF Outdoors, good code G. I'm messing up, y'all. This is, hey, raw and uncut, right? Code Gunfish TV. So be sure to use that. And I'm gonna tell you what, I had a good time, and I appreciate y'all watching. If you watched all the way to this point, that's absolutely amazing. So we're gonna get these rods strapped down, and we're gonna get the old Merc fired up, and man, we're gonna put this thing on the trailer. So I really appreciate everybody that has watched my channel forever. And if you're new, then I appreciate you tuning in for the first time. So anyway, man, we calling it, y'all. We calling it. Good day on the water. So I will see you next time on Gunfish TV.